Be walking down the block, not paying attention, and snag your arm or leg on all the scaffolding that's all over New York City. So I want to be very clear that this is not solely linked to violence. Okay? Somebody in the audience is going to say, well, I'm not getting shot, I'm not getting stabbed, I don't need to know this. We all need to know this. Okay? Very important. So, when we talk about stop the bleed, right, we're talking about preventing someone from bleeding out, as Dr. IESHA said. The reason that's important is because the body is beautifully complicated, but it's also wonderfully simple. Air goes in and out, blood goes around and around. If you interfere with any of those processes, you're in trouble. And so if somebody is injured and they're losing a lot of blood, that means that it's not what? It's not circulating, it's not going around and around. That person is in trouble. So, first thing we want to do is be able to alert the authorities and get that 911 EMS mechanism in place. All right? So before we do any action steps, the first thing we're going to do is make sure the scene is safe. We got some young, strong brothers here. I don't want anybody putting a cape on their back and jumping recklessly into danger. What happens if you jump recklessly into danger? Now somebody's hurt, and now you get injured, and now we need twice as many resources. Okay? So, the first thing you want to do is make sure the scene is safe. If that means waiting until crossfire is done, that's what that means. Okay? This is not a class to make anybody a hero, and you're not going to leave here with any medical degrees you didn't come here with. Alright? Let's be very clear. The first thing you want to do is call 911. Get that professional process started. Anywhere in the city, you're within 25 minutes of a trauma center. Get that process started. What you don't want to do is be in the middle of trying to render aid. I know my young guys here got the fancy phones, so now you're pulling your phone out, you're doing Face ID. It's too much. It's too much. Call 911 first. Get that professional process started. Our first action step, we are going to look for the source of life-threatening blood loss. But we have to be able to recognize life-threatening blood loss. When I say life-threatening blood loss, I'm not talking about the kitchen cut, where you're washing dishes and you cut your hand on a piece of glass and you kind of go like this. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about life-threatening blood loss. Okay? One way to recognize life-threatening blood loss is if blood is spurting from the wound. Typically that means a major artery has been hit. And you'll notice it pulses with the rhythmic pulsing of your heart. If the person's heart is still beating, you will see that blood pressure push the blood out of the body. Another way you can recognize life-threatening blood loss is if you see blood pooling under the person. Okay? If somebody is down and you see a growing puddle of blood, that is life-threatening blood loss. That person needs help right away. Okay? Alright, our very first action step. Something simple, something everyone here probably already knows, but it's going to be direct pressure. Okay? I have my limb here. Right? This represents a thick arm or a skinny leg, your choice. Right? And it has 3 different injury sites. We're going to start with this injury here. Actually, we're going to start with this one. Now, when I show this, people go, oh, I know what that is. That's a bullet wound. And yes, this is designed to simulate a bullet wound. However, if you get into a car accident and a piece of metal pokes you, it can look just like that. Again, accidents or injuries are not solely linked to violence. Okay? But this is designed to simulate a bullet wound. Alright, so if we encounter somebody with this type of injury, we've done that first step, we've called 911. Our first action step is going to be firm, constant, steady pressure. You can't see, but I'm up on my toes. I'm putting body weight on it. Okay? What you notice I'm not doing, I'm not pumping. This is not CPR. I take time to say that because a lot of times when we put that one hand down and that second hand comes on top, something in us tells us to start doing this, right? We've seen it in the movies our whole lives, right? You do not want to pump a bleeding injury. Constant, steady, firm pressure like my colleague Rashid is demonstrating. No pumping, no peeking. When I say peeking, that's doing this. Am I doing it? Did it stop bleeding? What you're doing when you peek, you are prematurely releasing the pressure. By doing that, you actually risk more blood leaving the body than possibly would have happened based on the injury alone, because again, God willing, that person's heart is still beating. And so what's building on the other side of the wound? Somebody help me out. What's building on the other side of the wound? Blood pressure, right? If the person's heart is still beating, blood pressure is building. If you prematurely release, more blood can exit the body. Okay, so our very first action step, firm, constant, steady pressure. No pumping, no peeking. All right, can I have a volunteer? Very quickly, just demonstrate. Firm, constant, steady pressure. Now, you want to hold it until professional help taps you. That means that while you are applying pressure, you have to keep your focus. This person may be yelling at you. They may be calling you everything under the sun except what your parents named you. It's okay. This is not the moment to get into it with somebody. All right, you are here focused on your mission, which is to prevent life-threatening blood loss. Thank you very much. She held it the whole time, did not release the pressure as I was talking. That's the type of firm, constant, steady pressure I'm talking about. All right, I know it's warm. We have 2 more steps. I will move quickly, but I want to make sure you guys are giving me the time. I want to make sure you leave here with the correct information. Let's take a look at this second injury site. All right, doesn't look that bad. And yes, like the brother said, this could represent a knife wound. But again, if you're playing in the park, not paying attention, I got plenty cuts and scrapes that look like this, right? So again, doesn't have to be from a stab wound, but yes, this is designed to represent a knife or slash wound. The problem with the wound like this is that it doesn't look that bad on the outside, does it? No. It doesn't look that bad. The problem is when I open it up, and this is not to gross anybody out, so if you feel a little queasy, turn away. But when I open it up, can everybody see how deep that injury is? Yeah. Can everybody see that? Step close, step close, step close. Step close, yeah, it's designed to, step close, feel it, touch it. This is hands-on. This is hands-on. Here's another one. You see how deep that is? Okay? The problem with an injury, did you guys see? All right, you can touch it. Okay. The problem with an injury like this is that it's so deep and cavernous that surface pressure may not be enough. If I just apply pressure on top, pretend this is the injury, if I apply pressure on top, the injury is so deep and cavernous, blood is still pooling at the injury site. If it's pooling at the injury site, that means it's not circulating, which we said in the very beginning, one of those two, air in and out, blood round and round, you're in trouble. So if blood is pooling here, it's not circulating. So for an injury like this, pressure may not be enough. We're gonna go to step 2, and before everybody leaves, please, just take one with you, good to have in the house. We'll pass them out, we'll get them to you. But that reinforces all of the steps that I'm talking about. And like I always tell people, this is not rocket science, but neither is stop, drop, and roll. And if your shirt catches fire and you panic and run down the block, you're in trouble. So as simple as stop, drop, and roll is, it'll save your life. As simple as these steps are, these will go a long way towards saving somebody's life. All right, so for an injury site like this, what we want to do is we want to pack the wound. That means fill the internal surface area. So I'm using gauze. If you're on the street, you use whatever you have that's absorbent. If you have a dirty shirt on, you use it. If there's a dirty sock on the street next to you, it sounds crazy, but you use it. In a life-threatening blood loss situation, you do not waste time trying to find 3,000 thread count Egyptian linens and all that stuff. No, you use what you have. It is extremely important that we are not wasting time in a life-threatening emergency. The hospital has every antibiotic known to man. We are not worried about cleanliness at this point. We are worried about blood loss. So we are going to take what we have and we are going to pack it into the wound, right? Just like it says, pack the wound. Once we pack the wound, we're coming right back to surface pressure. What are my 2 P's? No what? No pumping. No what else?
Peaking.
No peaking, right? And when we say peaking, of course, we're talking about prematurely releasing the pressure. All right, so we've done 2 steps. We've done firm, direct, constant, steady pressure. Our second step, packing the wound, right? And we packed it because for those that are just joining us, this was a pretty deep injury. Surface pressure may not be enough. Again, for those that are just joining us, these represent limbs. This is all for limb-based injuries. Anything to what we call the center mass of the body, you can apply pressure, but that person needs help right away. All right, so just to say again, these techniques. These techniques are for limb-based injuries. All right, so we're gonna move on to our third and final step. Our third and final step is to tie it off. When we say tie it off, this is a tourniquet. It works just like a belt. The purpose of a tourniquet is to apply as much constrictive force as possible. Imagine going to the deli and grabbing a bundle of straws. How hard would you have to squeeze those straws to pour water at the top and not have water come out the bottom? You gotta squeeze pretty hard, right? Our veins and arteries are the straws in our body that carry blood around. So when we're talking about applying constrictive force to stop the flow of blood, that's the level of force that I'm talking about. All right, so again, this is a tourniquet. It works just like a belt. It's designed to go around the limb. Now let me ask a very important question. Who thinks it goes, let's say this is the injury that we're treating and this is on my leg. Who thinks the tourniquet goes below the injury? Hands up, anybody below the injury?
Yes.
Okay,
below and above. Yes.
I appreciate that. However, I'm gonna offer a different answer and we're gonna say always above. But I appreciate your contribution. Thank you.
No, I said below because above, yes, but below, because you're gonna put pressure too. I mean, I might be right. Don't. I'm just giving you an answer.
No. This is hands-on.
Yes,
this is everybody involved, and I appreciate your contribution.
I would think both.
I do just want to stress, though, it's always going to be above, and if there's a need for a second tourniquet, you can always apply a second tourniquet, but that second tourniquet is going to go above the injury, and that's just based on our body's biology, right? Our heart beats blood. We have 2 major arteries that go up and down our arms and 2 down our legs, right? So if we're talking about limb-based injuries, it's always going to be above the injury. We're talking 2 to 3 inches above the injury. So if this is the injury I'm treating and this is on my leg, I'm gonna use 3 fingers, 2 to 3 inches above the injury, and we're gonna tie this around tight. Now, I'm only gonna spend a little time on a tourniquet because the reality is, if you or I are out in the street, what are the chances either of us have a tourniquet in our back pocket? All right? None. Exactly.
None.
Exactly. So I want everybody to be familiar with what a tourniquet is. They sell them in your medical supply shops, the same shops you get your crutches, walking aids, and such. You can get a tourniquet. You can also order one online. Be careful of the really cheap ones. You get what you pay for. Okay, so I'm going to pull tourniquet around as tight as possible. Before I seal it in, I have this tool here. It's called a windlass. I'm going to twist it to get even more torque and tightness on the tourniquet. I'm going to lock it in, bring this around, and I'm going to seal everything up here. By the time it's properly applied, this is what it should look like. Okay? 2 to 3 inches above the injury, tight, tight, tight. Okay, if I were to do this on any one of you guys right now, you would say, get this off me, this hurts. All right, so again, when you are providing aid to someone, it is important that you keep your head, you keep your focus, because the person you are giving aid to, They may be in another zone.
They don't know what time it is anyway.
Okay?
They don't know what
All right.
time it is.
So, that's what a tourniquet looks like. Now, let's talk about what it's most likely to look like when we're out and about. Your tourniquet is most likely to look like what Rashid has done here. He's taken a shirt, anything you have that can go around the limb, and he's gotten it as tight as possible. Okay, now, all of our steps can be used in conjunction with each other, so after the tourniquet is on, you can still come back to firm, constant, steady pressure. 2 hands, body weight on top. All right, so quick review. Our very first thing that we're going to do is what? Young people, help me out. What are we doing first? Before we take any action steps, who are we calling? 911.
That's right.
Okay. We're calling 911. We're getting that professional mechanism started. What is our first action step?
Take the turn. Turn.
Apply pressure. What kind of pressure?
Body pressure.
Body pressure, body weight on top. Steady pressure. Are we pumping?
Yes.
No.
Yes. You're not pumping?
No. Very important. Very important. When you apply pressure, firm,
Oh, you just rolling it down.
constant, steady,
Got you. Rolling it down.
no pumping, no peaking. And I appreciate that because that's a natural reaction.
That's
When
natural.
you
Good pump.
pump, you risk the blood
I'm
coming
like,
down
but no.
That's
Okay,
right.
if
Very good.
I wasn't paying attention. What I would do is pump.
No.
I gotta pay attention and see what he's saying. Y'all see
Yeah,
it?
pumping.
yeah,
No pumping.
yeah.
No pumping.
This
Right.
is
don't wanna
blood, not our
confuse
lungs.
Yeah,
Got you,
very
got you.
important because that's a natural reaction, and that's why I
Yes.
take the time to mention no pumping because
Right.
when we put, typically that's the only thing that we have
Right.
2 hands,
That's
you know,
only
our,
knowledge we have. Pump.
1 hand on top of the other
Exactly.
for.
Yeah, they pump.
So, very important, no pumping, no peaking. All right, so we've applied pressure. What is our second action step for a wound that is deep and cavernous like this? What is our second? Yes.
You fill it up with something absorbent.
You fill it up with something absorbent. Another way of saying that is packing the wound. Why is it important to pack the wound?
So the blood will leak out and keep seeking out.
Right,
We're
you're
gonna-
covering
we're gonna
the
absorb
internal
we're gonna
surface
absorb the blood.
area.
Absorb the blood, rather.
There you go.
We're
There you
gonna hold the
go.
blood with the wound.
All of this
Absorb
is
the blood.
designed
I know
to
it's
stop
absorb
the
the
bleed.
blood.
Okay?
Absorb the blood.
Our third action step.
Blood, rather.
We're gonna do what? We're gonna use a tourniquet or we're gonna tie it off. All right? And I really want to stress tie it off because again, what is the likelihood that we're gonna have a tourniquet in our back pocket?
That's what I was going to say. Where
It's
do
not
you
going
get
to happen.
those?
All right, so you can get them at your medical supply stores. It's good to have in the house, the same way you might have a fire extinguisher if you have unattended children at home or latchkey kids, as they say. But the reality is, if you are out and about, you are not likely to have a tourniquet on you, and so you still need to take action. What are you going to do? You're going to take a shirt, anything, a scarf, anything that can go around the limb and make it as tight as possible. All right? And then once we do, we can always return back to firm, constant, steady pressure. All right, so quick review. We're going to call 911. We're going to apply firm, constant, steady pressure. We're going to pack the wound, okay? And then we're going to tie it off. These steps will go a long way towards stopping severe and life-threatening blood loss, which is the entire point. With respect to our wonderful EMS firefighters and EMS personnel, they're first responders, but who are the true first responders? Or rather, who's on the scene first?
Anybody that's around you. Anybody that's your own
The
your own
people
peer.
you are with.
Anybody your own peer. Anybody
And
around
that's
you.
why it's important that we learn to take action. Okay? You can't predict an accident or emergency,
Right.
but you can plan. And that's the goal of today. So that everybody has a plan and a commitment to take action so that nobody bleeds out and expires from an injury that they didn't have to. All right? Thank you,
Can we
everybody.
do a review just quick?
Sure.
But some of our team is here.
I was late.
Team with Street Corner Resources. A review for those that are media because
Sure.
we want our community, our wider community, to know how to stop the bleed. So if we can do a Q&A or just kind of quickly go over a few of the things that you already talked about? if you
Sure.
don't mind? And I have some napkin for you to wipe your face.
IESHA.
Yes.
Do we have a demonstration from one of the audience members? Maybe
Yeah,
they
that's
can-
what I'm saying. Maybe
Maybe they can help do.
yes,
Yeah,
that would be great. That's what we want.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge
Oh, we got some gifts. Okay, let me start with the young people because they did answer one of your questions. And
right,
then we're going to go directly to, can we, and maybe get one person to demonstrate this Stay, don't
Right.
leave though.
kind of caught the first one. Thank you. I appreciate your
But
time
don't
and
leave,
attention.
stay,
Don't
because you
leave.
might be able to
Please stay.
give good input. We want to know that you got it. The important thing is not just to stand and watch the demonstration, but to learn how to stop the bleed. So if you're in a park, on a corner, in a hallway, in your house, somebody gets stabbed, shot, or brutally beaten, you will know what to do. That's what this is about. So Osakwe, Harlem Hospital, we're so happy to have you all here to do the demonstration.
Yes.
But right, you can clap. Come on, Miss. Come on, Miss Shoemaker. That's right. We're happy to have Harlem Hospital, along with Street Corner Resources, here to provide this opportunity. We'll be doing it just so that people know all throughout the summer at different locations. We chose this one first because, as you know, we had a person that was shot and
yes.
killed here.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that people know when things happen, as long as they are safe, that they have some way to respond and help that person. So
Thank you. Before I start, I just want to say thank you to Dr. IESHA SEKOU and her organization, Street Corner Resources. While I am here in front of you to teach Stop the Bleed, they are outside on the street, canvassing, mediating beefs in the community, and really doing a lot of unseen work. So I want to take this moment to
Thank you.
acknowledge Dr. IESHA SEKOU
Thank
and
you.
Street Corner Resources
Thank
for the work that they do in our community and for organizing us here today.
thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, my name is Osakwe Beal, and I am here on behalf of Harlem Crossroads, a program that is operated out of Harlem Hospital. We are under the HVIP umbrella, that is the Hospital Violence Interruption Program. We try to meet people who are injured, typically by violence, at their bedside in the hospital, where a lot of times people are more open to hear you when they have to kind of rest up a little bit. And so our goal is to flood them with services if they are in need, or to get them to make that critical life change so that we don't see them in our doors again. Another thing we do is we come out to the community to teach this very important first aid called Stop the Bleed. Stop the Bleed will teach you what to do in the event of an accident or emergency that results in life-threatening blood loss. All right, so we're going to quickly review the steps, and as I always say, this is hands-on, so I'm going to be calling on my volunteers
Yes.
to
So
come
don't
and
leave.
demonstrate. All right, so when we talk about Stop the Bleed, we're talking about stopping life-threatening blood loss. How do we recognize life-threatening blood loss? Life-threatening blood loss may look like blood spurting from an injury. Life-threatening blood loss may look like blood pooling under someone. If we see those things, we know that that person is at risk of bleeding out, and we need to move very quickly. Thank you. All right, the first thing we want to do is call 911. Get that professional process started. We want to ensure that help is on the way. In New York, you are less than 25 minutes away from a trauma center anywhere in the city, okay? But before EMS gets to you, there are important life-saving steps that can be taken that go a long way towards saving somebody's life. All right, so we've called 911. We've gotten that professional
Got two
process started.
volunteers.
We have some volunteers with us. I'm going to demonstrate, and then I'd like you to take it from there. All right, what's your name?
Mario.
Mario.
Nice to meet you, Mario.
All right, so our first action step after we've called 911 is firm, constant, steady pressure. body weight on top. Now, notice, I'm just holding it. I'm not pumping. No pumping. No peaking. And of course, when I say peaking, I'm really talking about prematurely releasing the pressure. You want to hold it firm, constant, and steady. We're going to have a volunteer show us what I mean by firm, constant, steady pressure. I'm going to get out the way, and you can choose any of those injuries.
Thank you.
So it's just firm. Firm, constant, steady. Now, in a real life emergency situation, is it going to be this quiet and calm?
No.
No, it's probably going to look like, oh, get off my leg. Oh, stop. Right?
Everybody else said,
We
"Oh,
can
look,
laugh.
ooh, ooh."
However, that's more likely to be a real life emergency situation.
That's right.
They have to do exactly as they've done and keep their focus. All right, Mario, you have the time?
It's been
You have the time? I'm just messing with them. I'm trying to see if they lose their focus and let up that pressure. They did not. That is what I'm talking about. Keeping your focus and maintaining calm, steady, constant pressure until professional help taps you and says, we got it from here. Thank you very much. All right. Let's give it up for our volunteers. Okay. Our second action step is going to be for an injury that looks like this. Okay, this is designed to represent a slashing, cutting type of injury. This could come from a knife. This could come from an accident playing, not paying attention in the park. All right, I want to stress that while we are here and we address violence in our community, that is not the only way accidents or injuries happen. The problem with an injury like this is that it may not look that bad on the surface. However, if I open it up, you see it's pretty deep. And everybody see that? The problem with an injury like this is that surface pressure may not be enough. Blood could still be pooling in the injury site. If blood is pooling in the injury site, that means it's not what? It's not circulating. The body is beautifully complicated. It's also wonderfully simple. Air goes in and out. Blood goes around and around. If you interfere with any of those processes, you're in trouble. Okay, so if blood is pooling at our injury site, that means it's not circulating. That person is still at risk of bleeding out. So what we want to do, we want to take anything absorbent. Here I'm using gauze. In a real life emergency situation, you may have to take off your t-shirt, right? Anything absorbent. You wouldn't want to use paper towel or newspaper. You want to use something absorbent. I'm going to use gauze. What you want to do, you want to pack the wound. I'm getting as much gauze as I can into the wound site, and I'm coming right back to firm, constant, steady two-hand pressure. By packing the wound, you're covering all of the bleeding sites internally, and you're coming right back to pressure. Okay? We're gonna have our volunteers demonstrate for us. You wanna come around for me right here on the end?
You want to help on that end?
You don't have to.
You have the right answer.
All right, so you're gonna use that, you're gonna use this. Okay, and so you're gonna pack the wound. Now again, in a real life emergency situation, it is never gonna be this quiet and calm. It may be chaos. Your job is to keep your focus and stay focused on the task at hand. You're gonna stuff as much as you can, and you're coming right back to firm, constant, steady pressure. He's got his whole body weight on top. I see they're on their toes. That is the type of pressure we're talking about.
No peeking though, right?
No pumping, no peaking. Okay, and when I say peaking, of course, I'm talking about prematurely releasing the pressure. All right, professional help has arrived. They've tapped you guys out. They have it from here. Now you can release. Thank you very much. I also want to stress again, the techniques that we're talking about today are for limb-based injuries. When I say limb-based injuries, I'm talking about your arms. I'm talking about your legs. You would not apply a tourniquet to the neck. You would not apply a tourniquet to the head, right? Anything that happens to what we call the center mass or trunk of your body, you can apply pressure, but that person needs help right away. All right, when we talk about tying it off and packing a wound, we're talking about limb-based injuries.
Can we
Okay?
get some other volunteers to come up with for the tourniquet?
Yes,
part?
yes. All right.
I ask you all to clear this. We
Thank
want to
you,
make sure
guys.
that everybody gets trained. I need 2 other volunteers to do the tourniquet. Come on, young man.
All right,
You're
so
leaving? Thank you so much. You're so wonderful. Thank you.
as our volunteers come up, please, 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 you can hang out right here in this corner. All right, how you doing? All right, so this is a tourniquet. It looks and works just like a belt. The purpose of a tourniquet is to go around the limb and to apply as much constrictive force as possible. Sometimes to help people visualize, I use the example of grabbing a bundle of straws in the deli. How hard would you have to squeeze those straws to pour water at the top and not have water come out the bottom? You gotta squeeze hard, right? Our veins and arteries are the straws in our body that carry blood around. So if we're talking about stopping the flow of blood, that's the type of pressure we're talking about. That's the type of tightness we need when we tie it off. All right, so I'm going to introduce a tourniquet, and then we're going to talk about what it really looks like in a real life, real world emergency. So the tourniquet, if I'm injured, and this is an injury on my leg, the tourniquet is going to go above the injury. Always above, never below. Where does the tourniquet go? Above. Right? And that's based on our body's biology. Our heart pumps blood. We have 2 major arteries that go up and down our arms and 2 that go down our legs. And so it's always going to be above the injury to stop the flow of blood. All right? So
if the gunshot wound is in the thigh, near the knee, it's above that gunshot wound.
always
correct?
above. Always above. Okay? So 3 fingers is my guide for 2 or 3 inches above the injury. I'm applying the tourniquet. I'm getting it as tight as I can. Before I seal everything up, I'm going to use this tool here. It's called a windlass. It gets it even tighter. All right, I'm going to twist this and I'm going to lock it in here so that it doesn't unwind on me. I'm going to bring this around and I'm going to seal everything up like so. All right, once it's applied, this is what it looks like. Okay? Tourniquets are sold in your medical supply stores. You can order them online. However,
If we don't have it,
if you don't have a tourniquet, which is the likelihood almost 100% of the time, you use what you can. I'm going to demonstrate very quickly, and then we're going to have our volunteers. Okay. In fact, our volunteers have seen us use the tourniquet. What's your name? Jock. Jock? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to have Jock apply the tourniquet, and then, I'm sorry, what's your name? Austin. I'm going to have Austin use something more likely that we're going to have in a real life emergency, okay? But the goal is to tie off both injuries, all right? So I'm going to step out the way. Jacques, I'm going to give this to you. Let me reset it for you. Okay. All right. Now, while they're doing this, and you guys can go. This is an emergency. You guys get busy. Get busy. Pick your injury, and you're going to describe as you're going.
I'm not gonna lie, that's my first time seeing this.
No problem.
Okay.
No problem. That's why we're here. All right.
you
So
can learn. You can
there
try
we
it
go.
again.
So 3 fingers, wrap it around, feed it through here. Yep. Feed it just like a belt.
You're gonna pull it tight. Now, Austin, I know you're stronger than that. Let's go. Let's go. We
She's
gotta
pulling
get it
it
tight,
pretty
Austin.
tight. I almost
There we go.
Good, Austin.
All right. Now, once it's tied off, you can always return back to firm, constant, steady pressure. Let me help you out here. All right.
Just
So
literally just put pressure like this.
there you go. Firm, constant, steady. No pumping, no peeking. You're gonna pull this around.
Thank you. I better know this. I'm gonna medical
Good
fail.
job. Yeah, well, you
Don't
really
sit
got
up
it
yet,
now.
'cause you can use this to get it
Yeah.
tighter. Okay. All right. While they're doing this, I want to stress, in a real life situation, it is never going to be this quiet and calm. It is going to be chaos. Somebody may be yelling, screaming. They're most likely going to be in pain. It is up to you to keep your focus, and you may have to keep a situation calm. While they're doing this, If you didn't listen to what I said and you jumped in and you didn't get that 911 process started, what's the best way to get help? Is it to yell out to the crowd, somebody help? Is that the best way?
No, call 911.
911.
You want to be very specific. What I'm getting at is you never want to yell out to a crowd, somebody help.
Right.
We're all somebodies.
Yeah.
We don't want to assume that somebody made a call when in reality
Right.
nobody has made the call.
Right.
So you want to be very specific. You in the blue Knicks shirt, call 911.
That's right.
Right? It's funny, but you see, you snap to attention.
Yeah.
It's like your mom calling your full name.
Yeah.
Right? That snaps you to attention in a way like none other. Right? Same deal in an emergency situation. You want to be very specific. All right, so Jock and Austin have finished. It is tied 2 to 3 inches above the injury. Here is what it's most likely going to look like in a real life emergency situation. I can tell y'all right now, I can feel this. Don't mess with Austin, she got this
And
pretty
she did a
tight.
little tough, you know.
Yeah.
Very good. Leslie.
Let's give it up for our volunteer.
Thank you.
All right, so those are our 3 steps. We're gonna call 911. Our first action step is firm, constant, steady pressure. Our second action step, packing the wound. Our third action step, tying it off. All right? Quick FAQ, frequently asked questions, right? People ask, hey, if there's an object still in somebody, right? If somebody has gotten stabbed or impaled with an object, do you remove the object? No. All right, so I want to be very clear. If you are providing aid to somebody that has been injured and there is still a foreign object in them, you do not remove it. You can tie a tourniquet above the injury. If it's safe to apply pressure, you can do that. You do not remove the object. All right? Any other questions? I mean, I want to make sure media has what they need, but I'm really here for the community. Do we have any other questions? There's no question.
Come on,
silly.
somebody
There's
got
no
some
silly
questions. This is about saving the life. Saving the life. Right? Come on, Jerry.
Great question. What if they have multiple
question.
wounds?
Really good
So, the first thing we started with is finding life-threatening blood loss. So if they have multiple wounds, we want to take action. But ideally, we want to find the worst wound to treat. And so if there is a wound where blood is spurting out of the body, or if you can easily identify the wound that's causing the pool of blood, that would be the injury you address first. However, there's no perfect answer or perfect solution I can give. Every case is going to be a little unique and a little different. If you do take aid or take the steps to render aid, though, I guarantee that person will be a lot better off than doing nothing. And that's ultimately what we want to get to. Working at the hospital, working in the emergency department, I can tell you, there is nothing worse than seeing somebody expire from injuries that they did not have to die from. I always say 50 Cent got shot 9 times. He's a TV mogul, still here with us. There are people that have been injured, way less severe injuries,
And bled out.
but they bled out
And lost life.
and they're no longer here with us. So that's why this is important. It's not rocket science. There's nothing profoundly deep. A lot of us already kind of have this, but we want to formalize this. We want this to be as front of mind as stop, drop, and roll is, right? You don't have to think about stop, drop, and roll. Your shirt catches fire, hopefully all of us know to get down, right? Not panic and run down the block. Well, God forbid, should we encounter an accident or injury, we want to have just as front of mind, call 911, firm, constant, steady pressure, pack the wound, tie it off, all right? Again,
I just want to add something to what you said. I've been at a number of crime scenes where people have been shot or stabbed. We're waiting on an ambulance. Most people didn't know how to apply pressure and would oftentimes be laying on top of the victim, particularly with a gunshot wound. They'd be like, "Oh no, that Day is shot. Day don't go," and they're putting their body weight on top of him, right? So in that case, when we approach to try to help, maybe there's a way to get people to do something different, but that's sometimes the hardest thing, right? To get people off. But what should really happen?
So ideally, in a situation like that, that person can either be instructed to apply direct pressure to the injury,
Right.
or, and I know it's a chaotic, high emotion situation.
Yes.
If we can get that person to excuse themselves so that we can apply proper aid,
Right.
that's ideal. However, we can talk about ideal until we're blue in the
Right,
face,
right.
because every situation is unique and different. But in an ideal scenario, we can either instruct that person to redirect their efforts to apply more effective aid, or we can try to excuse them so that we can jump in and deliver proper aid.
Is how you move a person has anything to do with it. How you move a person, if you're gonna move them.
So we would recommend that you do not move anybody, right? When you're dealing with life-threatening blood loss, it's not always apparent what caused the injury, and if there's anything to the center mass of the body, you definitely don't want to move the person because you just don't know what's going on.
Could they
And
have
so,
blood clots? Could this give you blood clots?
well, that's an issue that can arise down the line, but in that moment, the main focus is blood loss. And so
Right.
you don't want to
Apply
move
the
them.
pressure.
You really just want to get pressure or tie it off and make sure that 911 in that process is started and that help is on the way.
Thank you.
So,
So to add on to that, is it better to let them just lay there if the response is very delayed? Like if I had a car, you're gonna help them.
Now, see, that's where it gets a little tricky, right?
Yes.
How far are you from the hospital?
all of that.
What's the
and
severity
will
of the
pressure be
injury?
applied in the vehicle? So we've seen that.
Like if you have to drive and release pressure, I might say it's better to just apply the pressure.
Right.
But with my professional shirt on, I have to say that our recommendation is to provide aid on the scene until EMS arrives. I know that there are emergency situations that are unique and different,
Yes.
but I have to
Thank
give
you.
the official
Thank
recommendation. But I do acknowledge, and I am very aware that in a real life situation, EMS is delayed, you might have to do what you have to do. I recognize that. I want to be very clear that I recognize that, but I have to be careful what I
Absolutely.
officially
Okay.
share with the community.
So,
Do we have any?
unless you wanted to take
No, I
more
think we had
questions, we can take a break. You all can get some water. We can start another session.
So wound in the torso region.
Okay, great question. Jock
Can
asked.
he ask it again?
Yeah.
Sure.
What happens if there's an injury in the torso section? Because this is mainly for limbs.
Right. So, Jock asks, what happens if there's an injury in the torso section? Right? Very good question. Our official recommendation is to just apply pressure, but that person needs help right away. People who are injured, especially in the abdomen, you hear people, a gut shot can be fatal, things like you have too many internal organs for you to be able to know from the outside what's going on, or if you're even being effective, right? So pressure is ideal, but that person needs help right away.
I want to ask about an artery, right? 'Cause I know I've seen many get shot. Artery, somebody get shot. I know somebody that died from getting shot in the butt. You know what I'm saying? So like something like that, and I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? It was just one little bullet in the cheek, and he died. You know what I'm saying?
So it probably severed the femoral artery.
Yeah, he died just from his head.
And no pressure was applied.
So with no pressure applied, he died like within seconds.
Those major arteries, you can lose a lot of blood very quickly. Is extremely important, and that's why we're here, because that difference in time between the accident or injury and getting to the hospital or EMS arriving, that's that critical time, and that's
I mean, luck and God at the same time too. Like,
and people taking action though, and people taking action with respect to.
no, I totally understand, but
we want to encourage people to take action because that's the
take
gap.
bravery too, because when them shits are flying, nobody really want to be around.
And I will say, for those that can't hear the brother, he said it takes bravery, right? And I agree, it takes bravery. He said nobody wants to be around when bullets are flying. And I want to suggest to everyone here that you don't be around either. When we talk about rendering aid, you have to make sure it is safe to do so. I'm not here to put a cape on anybody's back. As I said before, you're not leaving here with any degrees that you didn't come here with, right? Nobody's leaving here with an MD degree, right? So I don't want anybody to kind of get outside themselves and start thinking that they can go save the world. But in an emergency, if you can take action, if you can apply pressure, if you can tie it off, I guarantee that goes a long way towards saving a life. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your time and attention.
Thank you.
I'm happy to answer questions. This is a one-pager. It has the 3 steps broken out. I encourage everybody to just take one. Good to have at home. We also have them in Spanish. If anybody has any Spanish-speaking neighbors, friends, or family, please